Hi everyone, this is To the Stars and Back, aka the founder of Cosplay. Somebody asked me to do a Gaara tutorial for the makeup, so here I am. Sorry it's taken me this long to do it. It's been hard trying to find the time around my classes and finals and work. So, alright, I finally found it, so we're good to go. Alright, start off, you kind of need to know what you need. It might be a little bit helpful. So I just use black eyeliner. I have red, which I kind of stole it from my friend. If you don't have red eyeliner, you can probably use lip liner. I think that's what a good majority of people use since this is really hard to find. You're going to want a sharpener in case it gets dull. For a good majority of it, I like it to be a little bit more dull so it doesn't hurt as much when you put it on, but that's just me. Mascara, because my eyelashes are so blonde that it doesn't really help very much, but it's worth a shot. And then I have makeup pads and Q-tips, a lot of them, to help with fine adjustments. The thing is about this is it's not always going to be perfect every time. It's kind of a learning process. You learn how you like to style it and how you learn to do it. I'm going to show you how I do it. For me, it's kind of easy because I have circles under my eyes from lack of sleep and just because I'm so pale to begin with. I usually could just kind of follow those along and then connect the lines. When it comes to doing the tattoo on the forehead, I usually have somebody else do it for me, but since I love you guys so much, I'm going to attempt to do it by myself. I have a picture and I flipped it, so we'll see how that goes at the end of this video. If not, my friend might just have to do it for me. She's over there. Okay, so time to get started. So I'm going to switch gears. I've tried a couple times to do this at the webcam and it's just a little difficult for me to get used to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it the way I normally do, so at least that way I know I'm doing it for you guys. I'll go step by step and then I'll go to the mirror, do it, and come back and show you what it looks like. Mainly what I do is I follow the shape of my eye. I go underneath and then up over the top and then connect them. And then for me, it's kind of easy because I have circles under my eyes, so I kind of follow those down to make sure, and then pick from there how thick I want it to be. I usually make the point down on the bottom, and then have the top be like up here, somewhere in that area. But yeah. So I'm gonna go run and get started with it, and I'll come back and show you what the outline kind of looks like. But keep in mind, this process it's not easy. It takes a lot of practice. And you just have to be really patient, and you have to keep trying. This is the third time I've tried so far tonight, so you just have to keep going. If you have to, just start over with one part of it or all of it and try it again and see what works best. For me, using webcam just does not work, so I'm going to go ahead and use the mirror. Okay, so here's a really rough outline. I kind of started with the bottom and then at the very bottom of my eye, because that's usually the hardest for me because I blink a lot, so I usually do that first. And then I traced the circles that I have under my eyes and just went up. I didn't go up that far, and then I waited until I went over the top of my eye and out. So this one doesn't look too horribly bad, so I'm going to continue with this one. I'm going to fill in the spots of my eye, go over the top, fill in over here, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like, and then I'll show you kind of how I touch up. Usually I have somebody else do the fine-tuning, but I usually do that at the very end after I do both eyes, and then that way they can check and make sure the thickness is not really thin and then really thick on the other eye. So I usually have them double check and then fix that if need be, and then fix up here and down here, because those are the hard spots to do for one person. And then after that I will try and do this, but for now let's just focus on this. So I'm gonna go fill this in. Okay, so I went ahead and filled it in. I'll lean in close so you guys can see. I'm sorry if it's really hard to see because I'm kind of white. But, so I just kind of filled in the lines that, sometimes it's hard to tell if you're doing it right, so I usually just go like this, and hey look, I kind of look like Gaara, but there's something that needs to be fixed, and I fix it before moving on to the other line. This one, I didn't do too horribly bad. Usually I do worse, but I think it's because this is the third time tonight. So, I filled in the bottom, brought it out, and then went over the top. Okay. So I went in close, actually there's a spot up here I could probably fix. So there will be some lighter spots which you can just go over and fix later. Right now I'm just kind of showing you the basic outline, then I'll have my friend go over those so that I don't end up unintentionally messing it all up. So I think if anything I had to say about this, I would try to make the inside of the nose a bit more pointier than that, just by kind of running a Q-tip down the bottom just a little bit, not a whole lot, and then going around the outside of it to clean up the edges a bit. This part's not too bad this time, but I still just need to clean up all the way around the edges to get it to look clean and finished. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the other eye. I'm not going to guarantee anything. Sometimes I have a really hard time trying to get the thickness to match up on the eyes, especially here and down here. But I will try, and then once my friend gets back, she will help me fix that, and then I will move on to this. So, alright, time to start the other eye, and I'll come back again and show you guys. I'm sorry I'm not doing too much of this actually doing it in front of the webcam. It's really, really hard for me to see on my screen what it looks like. It's easier for me to go over to the mirror and then come back and do it. So that's why I'm trying to give you guys as much details as possible. It's not that it's hard, it just takes patience and, well, a lot of patience. Because if you mess it up, you have to take a breath, wipe it off, do it again. So I think I've repeated that like 5 million times, but it's really important, especially for this. So, I'm going. There's a little tip about eyeliner. Don't do this is because this is so soft that it doesn't really do much of a point, which is a good thing. You're kind of want to keep it kind of round. The sharper you have it, the easier to go on in some places, but it will hurt a little bit more, and you can tell when it starts getting dull because you can feel the wood, and it's not a pretty feeling sometimes, especially in certain spots. So you just want to be really, really careful about how sharp you keep it, and make sure not to poke yourself in the eye. That is probably one of the biggest things ever. Do not poke yourself in the eye, because that hurts. This one I'm going to try and come back over more often, so that was the more that general, this is a bit more specific. So just kind of go, if you put on eyeliner all the time, then it'll be easy for you. I don't, so that's why I have so many spots. But I'm just going to go underneath your eye, like on your eyelid or on the edges. And I usually just do the bottom first, just to get that out of the way, because that's usually one of the harder parts for me. And then we'll go and, like I said before, kind of do the under part. So, okay. So next, I go under my eye and go over. I usually go about to the edge of like my eyelashes. I just kind of follow the line a little bit, so that way I can bring it up if I have to instead of trying to erase it. And sometimes if you're doing really good, that's what sucks the most. I also kind of start at the point, wrong way, just a little bit, just to kind of get the idea, and I'll go back over it and I do the above part next. So again, this is a very, very rough outline. I kind of have a few spots from where I still hit it, but just kind of followed it around, over the top of my eye, and out, and try to connect it. Sorry, one more way in this. I'm trying to connect the lines a little bit, and kind of trying to make it match up. It is a little off. Make it up just a little bit more, and kind of make this part thicker. But I'm gonna go ahead and fill in everything just to make sure that I get it all in. And then I'll go back and try to fix and try to make it symmetrical, so to speak. Okay, so I went ahead and did most of the touch-ups. On the bottom, I think I did pretty well into my leg. I just need to clean up the edges, kind of clean up the points here. The only thing I would really, especially with what I just did, would be the tops, like how they slope. One goes up farther than the other. So I'm going to take a remover and kind of carefully pull this one down and hopefully make it like similar to this one. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the edges and try to clean this one up as best I can. If not, then sometimes it's easier just to make it thicker. And some, for some events, like if I do this for a half and say in a marathon, sometimes one would be thicker than the other. It just depends on how I can get it, because it's usually easier to add on makeup than it is to take it away. So just kind of try and keep that in mind when you're doing it too. It's usually easier to go smaller, and then if you want to make it larger, make it thicker, you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Q-tips. Get a couple of them. You said I'm walking back here all the time. So I'm going to take Q-tips and try to do the best I can. If I have to, I will use the pads. But usually if you do that, it means it takes up a huge chunk and you have to wait for it to dry, or in my case I take a tissue, try to wipe off most of the oil, and then try it again. So I'm going to try my best to use this, and I might take like a little edge of that and go over, just to make sure that it's clean, and then touch it up. And then after that I should be almost done, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I didn't finish touching it up yet. I just kind of went and fixed the edges a little bit. I took off a good majority of this corner. I just went ahead and took that off as best I could. So now I'm going to go over and I'm going to try and make it match up with this. So I have the basic outline, and I'm just going to try and extend this as much as this does and try to get it to be as symmetrical as possible. Okay? Okay, so I have the basic done for the most part. So in case if you've ever seen any of my other pictures that I've done in Gaara, this makeup is a bit thick. This is a lot thicker. Like the bottom is about the same, but I did a lot thicker on top just to show you. This is kind of like an over exaggeration of the point. Normally I don't bring it up this far. I usually just kind of go down so it doesn't come out nearly this far. It usually comes out to about here and just kind of connects there. I extended it past what I normally do so you guys can actually see it, because sometimes it's hard to tell. I was just looking at a couple pictures of what I did in the past, and it's a lot thinner on top, but it is just kind of an over exaggeration to show you the basics, and from there you can decide how you want it. Some people like to do it a bit thicker, some people like to do it a bit thinner. It just depends on personal preference. Usually I have someone go over and around it, make sure it's all clean and everything, but for now we'll just go ahead and move on. So the last step for the eyes is mascara, but if you have dark eyelashes, this usually isn't a problem, but for me my eyelashes are a lot blonder and a lot lighter, so I'm going to go ahead and go over. Normally I would use just black eyeliner, but this is black brown because this is the only thing I have at the moment. So there are the eyes. Again for me this is thicker than what I normally do. I have seen people do it like this. For my face shape I think this is a little too much for me, unless I was trying to do more angry Gaara. So I usually do it thinner on the top. The bottom I usually keep like this, thinner on top, and the points don't go out really as far. And again, there are parts that I may have that are still a little bit lighter or that I miss completely. Normally I have somebody else go over and touch all that up for me because it's really hard to do it yourself. Okay, so now we're done with that. Eyeliner is going away before it makes a mess all over my desk. Okay, well this is going to be fun. I'm trying to arrange my webcam in so I can get the picture. I do have a picture that I have of close-up when I first did the love symbol. So I'm going to bring that up and put it off to the side. I flipped it, so hopefully I can try to get it. I'll at least do some of the basic lines. When it comes to doing this, sometimes I leave it straight down, sometimes I angle it. I think I prefer it more a little bit angled because my forehead's kind of large, but when you have a wig on, it shortens down the space you have, so trying to do it sometimes can be a little bit of a hassle. And if you're wondering why I don't do anything with the eyebrows, it's because it's hard. I don't have a lot of money to go and get latex and completely erase them. And to be quite frank, I like to be a bit more realistic with my cosplays, so I try to keep them as almost human as I can possibly do it. So that's kind of my ways, and frankly, me with eyebrows, I tried it once with makeup and tried to cover it up. And that eyebrows is really, really weird, so I will keep my eyebrows. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt. So this is red eyeliner. This is all that I have left. I have used red lip liner in the past, so it's not unheard of. Usually it's just kind of whatever you can find, because I have searched and searched and searched for red eyeliner and I cannot find any anywhere. So I'm probably going to go online and try. If not, then I'll just use lip liner. And if I was you, especially with the symbol, sometimes I'll share a secret. Sometimes I use hairspray to keep me from smearing at it. If I put hairspray on it, it kind of sticks a little bit better and it keeps me from touching it, because I do that a lot. So yeah. So whenever you go to a convention or you're doing photo shoots and you're doing Gaara, please take your makeup with you so you can touch up as you go, because there are times when either your wig gets in it and you try to fix it and you smear it, or you just forget that you're wearing it and just go, because I had done that before. It's kind of embarrassing sometimes. Okay. This is going to be weird, and there's something in my webcam. I think you got it now. I'm sorry. I think that was there the entire time. I'm sorry. That wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, well, Cross your fingers. I can't do this on this thing because I'm holding stuff. Kind of. Cross your fingers and we'll see how this goes. Normally, I kind of try to start with the bottom. Actually, I might have to go do this in the mirror again. This is really hard to do in a webcam. Normally, I try to do the bottom. By that, I mean like the leg parts of it. And try to get that across my eyebrow how I would want it. And then I do the very, very top part so I know how much space I have. Again, this is just a whole trial and error thing. Sometimes you're going to do it too big and you'll have to go just take it off and do it again, or you do too little. But honestly, people don't know how to leave me alone. Sorry, my parents. My phone is going on silent. Sorry, I should have done that before I even started. But it's a trial and error process. Honestly, I have seen people who don't even bother with the mark. They just do hearts, and people still get the idea of who they are. So it just kind of depends on your preference. I like the mark, mainly because I try to be, again, it's realistic, and I think that's just part of his character, and I like it enough that I have it tattooed on my foot. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna do this piece by piece, but I don't have this printed out or anything. So I'm not going to do it here because I don't like doing it in front of the webcam for some reason. I can't get it quite as, to look as nice as I normally would. So I'm going to do piece by piece up and back, because I have to look at the picture too. So I'm going to go to the mirror, try to do the bottom part and the top part as best I can, then come back and show you. I probably won't do all the fuller parts, I'll just do lines for now, so to give you guys the idea. Especially because I'm doing this by myself. Normally, this is the part I have one of my other friends do because I'm not an artist when it comes to drawing anything by hand. My skill is with the camera. So usually they do this and I'll tell them to fix it maybe once in a while. But normally they can get it right somewhat on the first try. But again, I am doing this backwards, so it makes it even harder. So I will be right back and I will try my hardest not to screw this up too much. Yeah, I'm sorry, this looks really, really, really bad. I can't do this to save my life, especially backwards. But you get the general gist of it, kind of. I think I might have messed it up even a little bit. Okay. Oh, I know what I did. I angled it too much. It's over here when normally it's over here. That's kind of why it looks weird, probably, and it's probably why I screwed it up so much. Oh well. Anyway. So yeah, you heard me. I angled it too much this way. Normally I have the end of the tail going over the end of my eyebrow, but I didn't for some reason. I wasn't really thinking that I just did it. So I'm not gonna redo it or anything because I have somebody else do it for me anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of the general gist of it. It's not perfect. I kind of really messed up the middle part right there with all the dots and everything. But for my purposes, I'm doing it on my own for the first time. It's pretty good. Okay, so the wig to show you what it looks like. Now, like I said earlier, sometimes I'll use hairspray and put it over the mark just to keep me from smearing it, and B, kind of holds it down a little bit better. If you are at a convention and it's really hot, you will probably start to sweat, which means it will start to fade, or it might even start to kind of smear. So you might at times have to redo it and touch it up. So make sure you carry your makeup with you. I think that's most of it. Is that okay? Somewhat. This is my helper for the day. Hi. She was going to help me touch it up, but I'm just too lazy to do it right now. Ouch. My lip is sweating again. Okay. So, yeah, normally I would have her go in and fix the lighter spots and fix the edges and then do this whole mess. I did that by myself for the first time in the mirror, so give me a little credit. But, yeah, so that's all you really need to know. I'll show you how to take it off. That is the fun part. When I first started doing this, I did not have the handy dandy makeup pads. Excuse the brand. I don't know what brand it is. It's weird. Okay. Makeup remover pads. You will love these things to death. But, so, when I first started, I scrubbed at my eyes with just soap and water, and I get some of it off, but I was like a raccoon for days afterwards, and you always knew when I went to a con at Gaara, because it would be there for a long time. But with these handy dandy pads, it's a lot easier to come off. You smear it around your face a little bit, but it gets it off a lot quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. So normally I can't honestly tell you how long it takes to do this on average, because it depends each time. Usually I have other people helping me, so it usually goes, sometimes it goes quicker, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on how well they can get it the first time. This one took me about an hour, but that's because it took me longer than an hour. It's just the third try that I did, and this one took an hour. The other ones took like 20 minutes, then I stopped and took it all off and did it again. So I've been going about this for almost 2 hours. Shut it. So I'm really hungry now that I think about it. But yeah. So it just depends on if you're doing it by yourself, first time, sometimes it just takes a while because things just don't want to cooperate with you. So this takes me roughly about an hour to do the black, a majority of it by myself, and then to touch up, and then do this by myself. Normally that part goes quicker because I have somebody else doing it, so all I have to do is look at a picture and do it, instead of me having to run back and forth between my computer and the mirror and then doing it backwards. So, anyway, I hope you guys learned something. I hope this was helpful. That's why I tried to do this, because it helps people, and I had somebody ask, so I hope this really helps you out. Yeah, I really don't have anything else. It is getting late for me. So, annyeong, sayonara, however you want to say goodbye. Again, if you have anything else you want to ask, do feel free to leave a comment or leave a message of some sort. Yeah, so, bye.
Not that, but okay.
Yeah, stop.